Welcome back, Patriots. This, of course, is the creator and the host of the Outspoken Patriot, Michael Kinnett. Thank you so much for being here for yet another episode of the OP. This is episode 6. Remember to subscribe down below so that the Outspoken Patriot family can continue to grow. Today, we will be dedicating this episode to the brave men and women who protect our cities and towns every day and every night. Now, I just want to jump straight into this week's topic, which again is titled Back the Blue. Have you all been seeing the articles that are covering all of the officers who have been shot just here in the past couple weeks? Not only do these events make me sick, but they make me furious. And I know that those of you who live in a small community like me feel the same way. Maybe even those of you who are living in larger cities have even stronger feelings about these issues surrounding our officers. I can't imagine wanting to live in the big city, have that big city life, and then have it taken from you because radical left Democrats think it is a brilliant idea to take away your safety. Not only do they place laws that prevent you from carrying a firearm that would protect you against armed thugs, they also take away officers that would put their life on the line in order to save you. Someone who is just a complete random person. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and give a warning that I may just go off on some side rant, this episode especially. But trust me, all of what we have to discuss today will connect, and I just can't hold back my feelings about this topic. Let's go straight into a hot point about backing the blue, which is me right here, right now, calling out those who choose to support criminals rather than the men and women that bless you with the ability to sleep peacefully in your home as well as walk peacefully to your job or even shop without the threat of some moron looting a store and possibly killing people during this act. Now, raise your hand if you would agree that there are some bad cops out there. Yes, my hand is up behind this computer and behind this mic. And I'm doing this podcast about supporting officers. So if that tells you something, then there you go. No one said everyone who walks this earth is perfect, right? But it's pretty clear that we need our men and women in uniform. Just look at these beautiful and gorgeous cities like Chicago, who had 15 plus people shot just this past weekend. And this information comes directly from ABC7 Chicago. With this information, you have Mayor Beetlejuice, Mayor Lightfoot, saying that defunding the cops is a must, only to regret that decision as crime surprisingly can reach an even higher level in Chicago. Who would have thought? So far, we have brought in a fact about Liberal City. And just a little side note, yes, this is happening in almost all liberal cities across America. And we have also stated that we do agree that some officers abuse their power. So, quick look back at what we've talked about so far. I want to go touch on something that I mentioned earlier, and I hope that Patriots caught it. You know, when I said that people now support criminals rather than our officers, we can all sit back on our couch as we watch the news and say, oh man, I wouldn't have done what that officer did. Or look how harmless that guy looked during that 15-second clip of an arrest. But usually what we find out is that the person being arrested is a career criminal who wouldn't just sit and listen to the officer because, one, the media and society has portrayed the idea that it's empowering to resist the law. And two, they are just some individuals that have zero respect for authority in any way. And those individuals do not need to be around my family or friends, that's for sure. We won't mention names here on the channel, but I guess you can go ahead and support the individuals who held a gun to a pregnant woman's stomach, or was a known drug dealer, or the person who was a rapist and career criminal. But I, for one, will support those who confront individuals like these, and try their best to protect the citizens who believe in our country's values and represent our towns and cities. And again, we all need to judge these situations as they happen. If the cop is wrong, then they are wrong. Same thing follows the one being arrested. Now, I want to go ahead and steer away from what we've been discussing so far. I think that we can all look at the news and realize that our country will not be recognizable if we no longer have law and order. I also think that those who voted for the party that has turned their back on our officers are really regretting their decisions. And if you aren't, well, let's just say that you can stay in New York City and California, and because basically you won't bother me there. Now, John chapter 15, verse 13 states that greater love has no one than this, than to lay down one's life for his friends. That's what being an officer is all about, right? I haven't done anything even close to what the men and women in blue do every day. You know, that reminds me of something I think about when I see a police car pulling someone over in a parking lot late at night. Could you imagine doing this? Doing your job by preventing crime, so you pull someone over. It is dark out, and you can't really see what's going on in the car you pulled over, but you believe in what you are doing. So you walk up to the car to carry out your duty, knowing what lies ahead, or not knowing. I can't think of a greater love than that. The OP, real talk for a second. Cops aren't doing this to make another tally on how many people they pull over. At the end of the day, they are doing it to protect people like you and me, who they probably have never met before. If this doesn't make you feel something about these men and women, then you've let your politics come before your values. A safe America is all I want for my family, and our officers can give us that if we just continue to give them our support and let them do their job. I wasn't for sure if I would decide to do this or not, but I'm going to go ahead and attach just a few short clips showing what our officers do for us every day. And I thought that the last episode that had a Ronald Reagan ad in it went over well and people enjoyed the video. But for this episode, there's a warning. There's some terrible moments in these short clips. But the Outspoken Patriot stands for truth, and the media does not. So what we are going to do is play these videos for all of you, because maybe the news you listen to is painting criminals as heroes and saints, when in reality, the men and women in these videos are heroes, and that is our officers. Go ahead and take a look.
I'm not playing with you. Take your hands out your pocket. Take your hands out your pocket. Take your hands out your pocket. Shots fired! Shit! Shit! I'm hit! Shot fired! Rifle!
So what would you have done in these situations? Still think you could have made a better decision? Officer Quincy Smith in the first video was shot but survived, and all officers in the second video survived, but one was shot. I'm attaching the links in both videos to the description, so if you want to watch the full video, then check it out after our conversation here at the OP. I wanted to do this episode with you all because of the rise in officers being shot here in the U.S. I go on Facebook and I don't see people posting their picture or saying how wrong the event was that ended with the loss of their life. Why is that? Why do their lives not matter? 7 officers have been shot just in New York City within the first weeks of 2022, and there's been multiple shootings of our police officers in many other states across this nation. 65 were killed in 2021 due to gunfire or stabbing. Where's all of the posts on social media? We know it doesn't fit the media's goal, so we won't see any of this information there. But it's time that we, the people, take back our country. Stop listening to whatever a celebrity says as they sit in their house protected by a wall or a tall fence and armed guards. Don't listen to the politicians who demand that we defund the police as they then add yet another bodyguard to their team. Turn off the TV when the media says that we need to support the criminal instead of the officer. Go out into your community and think to yourself, what would my home look like if law and order ceased to exist? That wraps up this week's episode of the Outspoken Patriot. I hope that this topic gets all of you patriots out there fired up and willing to stand with the men and women in blue. Thank you to all the men and women who protect our cities 24/7. The patriots within this great nation see everything you do, and we owe you so much, especially the fans here at the Outspoken Patriot. We hear you, and we see you, and of course, we support you. You make America safe, and you keep her good. God bless our officers, and God bless the United States of America. United we stand. Let's stand with those who serve this great country.